Okay. Good morning, everybody. I think this is working today. My technology is a little bit messed up, but that's part of making all of this work. So, good morning. I'm sitting here. I have this new mug that we got for teaching RE. Our DRE gave out mugs to her catechists and assistants this past yesterday, no, Wednesday, whatever day of the week it is. Wednesday, with everything going on. She wanted to make sure we got them before Christmas. So that's really nice. So I have this nice mug and I have raspberry black tea in here from Adagio Teas again, because I like their teas. So raspberry black's a great way to go. Just a little bit of sugar. So good morning. It is Friday, December 4th, and we're here, right? We're making this work. It's good to see some of you jumping into the live stream here. Yeah, we're making all this work. I've got Dominic running around, so I might need to yell at the cat because he likes to get himself into trouble sometimes. Like right now, he's trying to decide if he's going to climb in the box with all of my electrical cords and stuff, because why would he not want to do that? That's way more entertaining, right? So he's doing that. So if I keep looking over at him, apologies for him being a kitty and doing what kittens do. He is officially over 6 months old now. His birthday was on Monday. And on Monday, he got his shots too. I talked about that last week a little bit, how he was going to go in and get his shots and get checked out to make sure he's healthy. The vet says he's just perfectly fine and healthy. As for shots, he needed 2 of them for his 6-month vaccinations, and one of them is back ordered. So he got one of his shots and he'll go in for the other one whenever they get it. So that's what he's been doing. He's actually 7.2 pounds according to the vet at the measuring him there with his weight. And so he's gained a lot of weight, but he's doing really great. So I'm really proud of my little munchkin who's running back and forth all around the place because he has a lot more energy than I do. Okay, this past week has been a week. Probably said that already, but let's just take a look. Try to look at what all happened this last week. It was the first Sunday of Advent, which was great because I love Advent. So it's always fun to be able to start Advent again and just have a good time with Advent and doing all the Adventy things. And this past week, I also worked on getting a podcast feed set up for these tea times, and also I'm going to work on getting some of my past videos uploaded as audio only on the podcast feed, so that way we can have audio versions of these times that I talk or different topics I've covered. It'd be good to get some of them out again, and I can always make more then. So I did start a podcast feed at Anchor FM. It's just called Tea Time with Catholic Amanda. There's links for it all in the description if you're interested at all. But yeah, I figured audio only. Some people prefer audio to video. I know I do if I'm not at home. I definitely prefer audio if I'm not sitting in front of my computer. I don't like doing a whole lot of video on my phone, so podcast makes sense that way. And if I'm just going to use this content I'm creating right now and just put it in both places, best of both worlds. And as I'm saying that, I actually have a second screen open on my computer where I'm recording what I'm saying right now, so that way I can get it all uploaded where it belongs. So this one should be uploaded to the podcast feed by the end of the day as well today. Just trying to help get another way to listen to things if you want. I'm also going to work on getting some of my prayer videos as audio only onto the podcast feed this weekend, into this coming week. Yeah, today is the feast of St. John Damascus, or John Damascene, depending on how you want to say his name. It's also yesterday was St. Francis Xavier, who was a great missionary and one of the first Jesuits. He's a really great guy. If you don't know his story, you should totally look into it. This coming week, we have a lot of really wonderful saints coming up. We have St. Nicholas on Sunday. Well, he's superseded by the Sunday, but his feast day is still Sunday. So if you don't know the story of St. Nicholas, you could look up the real story of St. Nicholas, especially if you have kids around. It's great to tell them the story of the Bishop Nicholas of Myra and how awesome he was, and why Santa Claus is based off of him, because he's such a guy. He did a lot of gift giving and helping the poor who didn't have money. Then next week we have the Immaculate Conception is coming up. Technically it's a holy day of obligation, but I'm not sure how that works because we're in all of this COVID stuff where we have dispensations from attending Mass. It's not really a holy day of obligation in my diocese in Montana here. It might be in some other dioceses, but I know we're still under the dispensation from the Sunday obligation, which also includes holy days of obligation, as our bishop clarified. So it's not a holy day of obligation for us here, but I will be going to Mass because I've been going on Sundays and I've been trying to get to more daily Masses. Just sometimes it's hard with scheduling. So that's what I've been doing. Yeah, so Immaculate Conception's coming up, and then we have Juan Diego on the 9th. I love Juan Diego's story. He's such a really great saint for just listening to Our Lady, even when he had other things to do and tried to avoid her. She just called him and said, "Come on now, Juan, you got this." December 10th is Our Lady of Loreto, the Holy House of Loreto, which is the house that Mary and Joseph raised Jesus in. Then next Friday is the 11th, which is Pope St. Damasus, I believe. And the 12th is next week, Saturday, Our Lady of Guadalupe. We'll have another tea time before then because we'll have tea time again next week, Friday, the 11th. Oh, I forgot, John. Monday is the 7th, St. Ambrose. Ambrose is pretty cool. He wrote a lot of really awesome stuff. Some of it's a little tricky to get through, but it's very good stuff. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw that I posted a picture of a monthly goals page in my planner, because I get a planner that starts in December every year because liturgical year just makes sense for my life. So I picked a goal this year for this month, and my goal was to grow closer to the Lord. And then it has 5 mini goals to help me achieve the month goal is how it's designed. So mine are to continue with daily prayer, add a daily Mass, 1 daily Mass per week, the St. Andrew Christmas Novena, which has been wonderful. I love the St. Andrew Christmas Novena. You should totally check it out. If you haven't started praying it yet, you can still start. And then I add a rosary 3 times a week to make sure that I'm getting my weekly rosary done, and then restart my prayer board, which I do have up over here. I have my prayer board up. So if you ever want me to pray for anything, just let me know. I will add it to my list. So that's that one. Then this goals page also has the big things happening this month. So I have December Lamp, which is the USACV newsletter that I'm in charge of taking care of. So I make sure that that's coming up. It's actually December 12th is its release date. So working on that. Then Christmas is coming up, and St. Lucy. St. Lucy is my confirmation patron. So her feast day is really important to me. Steps I can take too, and then there's 4 different categories here. I just really like this goals page. That's why I'm sharing it. So it's steps I can take to have better self-care and read some novels. I like to read, but I haven't been reading as much as I could. So I'm going to read some more. To be healthier, to eat lunch at work. Sometimes I get stuck in doing so much that lunchtime gets forgotten, and it happens, but that's not necessarily a good thing. So that'll be good. To challenge myself, I'm keeping up with For the Words. It's an online application type thing. It's where it counts your words to defeat monsters, and I use it for journaling. Sometimes if I'm not using an actual journal, I will journal on For the Words. It just counts my words, and you can complete quests and stuff. It's kind of like a role-playing game to write more. A lot of writers, some writers use it, so there's that. And then to make myself proud, I'm going to keep up with YouTube and pick a word for 2021. I have not picked my word of the year yet for 2021. So that's something I've been thinking about and praying about, and we will see what happens. And the last section on my monthly goals page is the monthly phrase to live by. And I picked a verse from Luke chapter 2, verses 10 to 11. It's very fitting for Christmas. Be not afraid, for behold, I bring you good news of a great joy, which will come to all people. For to you is born this day a Savior. So that's from the Christmas story. So yeah, that's this goals page, and I really like it. And there's actually one at the end of this month that goes over how did you accomplish your goals. So that'll be interesting to see. I never have done the goals page before in this planner. It's by Plum Paper, by the way. So I haven't done that goals part before. So it'll be interesting to see what that brings for. Good morning, Lou. I see it coming in the chat there. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm just working on, is trying to keep up with goals and to set goals, because it is December, and that's what I try to do every month. And so because my planner was getting new pages, I ordered those monthly goal pages to really see if I can keep up with goals and keep myself motivated. This tea is really delicious, by the way. I like the raspberry black tea from Adagio. It has raspberry leaf in it as well as raspberry flavor. So it's like somewhat healthy, but still black tea, which is, again, somewhat healthy. Again, I just like this tea a lot. So I'm just going to sip on that while we keep talking. I had some questions after my last video. I had asked for questions if you wanted me to discuss anything in these tea times. Let me see if I can find the questions, because I did not write them down ahead of time, because why would I do such a thing like that? But I do have them here on my phone. I just have to bring up the right thing and see what I can grab for there. Oh yeah, tea is amazing. I really do like tea a lot. And with my doctor asking me to move from coffee and soda to more tea and water, I've really been embracing tea and remembering how much I love tea. And I'm not usually one big on a lot of tea flavors, but I'm trying to broaden my horizons because there's always tea options. Okay, let's see what we have here for some questions. I have some people asking me to pray for them. That's just fine. A great question from Francis and Fawn. Would you ever consider joining a third order community, for example, the Carmelites, Franciscans, Dominicans, etc.? That's a good question. I've considered third order or lay communities. I know there's a lay Carmelite group in my parish. None of the other communities have third orders or lay orders here. It's something to consider, but I'm not sure which order I would feel most at home with. Each order has their own charisms and spirituality, and I kind of don't fit into any of them perfectly. I know a lot of consecrated virgins have our charism is Marian. It's very Marian, so we don't always fit into these other third order charisms. Some of the consecrated virgins that I know are third order Dominicans or third order Franciscans or lay Carmelites or lay Benedictines or something like that. It's kind of like their secondary vocation. And I have never put a whole lot of thought into whether I would consider a third order at some points. Yeah, I've thought about it a little bit, but it hasn't really been something that's come up too much. So I do like third orders. They're really great. The lay communities, they're great to have that community aspect, but I don't quite fit with any of their spiritualities perfectly at this point. In the future, at some point, I might look into more of the third order things, but right now it's more, I'm just deepening my own prayer life and my own spirituality as a bride of Christ and a consecrated virgin, as a child of Mary, doing the things that Mary would do and to pray and ponder in her heart, which is the real call of consecrated virgins. Thank you, Michael Anthony. It's nice to have fans, I guess, or people who I'm friends with. I try to call you all like friends. Not the super biggest fan of the word fans, just because I don't think I'm that special. I'm just a random person who does random things. I had some other questions. Let's see what they were in here. I had a bunch of people commenting on YouTube and on Twitter lately about this, my head covering. I have a scarf on my head because I'm losing my hair. I don't have cancer. It's a side effect of genetics and a medication that I'm on that's helping me feel better than I have in years. So I'm just dealing with hair loss as a side effect of feeling healthy again. So that's just the way it is. And I just enjoy not being ugly because I feel quite ugly with my hair loss and with not having hair the way I was. And this past week I had my mom help me trim the remainder of my long hair because with the balding spots, they're never going to grow back at the same length that the rest of my hair was. So we did trim them up. So it's kind of sad in a lot of ways. It's a lot of emotions going into hair loss and just realizing that I'm feeling better though. And if I'm losing my hair because I'm feeling better, that's so confusing. It's like this really weird mixed emotion thing going on here. But yeah, this scarf is an Israeli tehil from Rapunzel because it's really a thin one and they had a great sale for their Thanksgiving sales. It's like kind of see-through if you have just one. I wear it doubled, so it's not as see-through, especially when it's up on my head, but that's really nice. It's a nice thin one that doesn't weigh a lot, and technically this one is a square, so it's like tucked in at the back to hide the ends there, if that makes any sense, or if any of you care. I find that some people care and some people don't. That's just the way it is. Let's see, did I have any other questions that had come in? I know I had a few about various different things. Let me see, where were they? A lot of people saying, thank you for coming up. Okay. No other questions that were like really on topics for something I'd like to talk about today or anything, but it's just been a week, it feels like. We're in December officially, and this is just the way things are going to happen, I guess. It's going to be December for a while, and we're going to get to Christmas before we know it, but it's Advent, so we need to take the time to savor Advent while we can, and that's not always very easy, so we just have to do our best to really appreciate that Advent is our time of waiting and preparing for the birth of Christ into the world, into our hearts, and the coming of Christ at the end of the world. Okay, got a question here from Dicey Lunas. Just to go soon, but she has a question. Can consecrated virgins live with other family members, such as with parents or other siblings, along with their spouses and children? Yes, obviously. I live with my parents. I actually rent the upstairs from them, kind of. So I technically live at home with my parents. Yeah, some consecrated virgins live with their parents. Some live with siblings. Some live, I know one that I know of, she lives with her sister's husband and children, and their children. And she nannies, I think, for the kids. Can't remember for sure. I'm blanking on names too. But that's really great. So yes, we can live with our families. The thing about we are kind of on our own, but not really. We're still united to the family that we came from. They're still our family. And that's the way it's going to be for a while. We don't have a religious family like religious sisters do, where we live in a convent or anything like that. Though some consecrated virgins do live with other consecrated virgins. Again, not required or anything. I don't think there's a link to print the whole breviary, Michael. You would be able to go to ibreviary.com and view the daily readings, and you can select the dates that you want, but I don't think you can print a whole PDF version of the breviary, because I know an English Catholic book publishing company owns the rights to it, I believe. Ooh, chapel veils, Lou. I love chapel veils. That's the other thing with having like a scarf on my head. I'm like, do I wear a chapel veil over my scarf or not? Because I've worn a chapel veil for years, since almost high school. So it's just odd for me to walk into a church without pulling a chapel veil out of my pocket and putting it on my head, even though I already have a scarf on my head. So it's kind of one of those things I'm processing, trying to determine what would be best, because it looks kind of silly sometimes to put a scarf over, or a chapel veil, a lace one over the top of something like this. So But yeah, I was hesitant when I started wearing a chapel veil as well. I was in high school. Like I said, I was a senior in high school. I was 17 at the time because it was before my birthday, and I was very nervous on what people would say to me. I made sure my parents were okay with it first because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't doing anything wrong there. And then I was scared of what people were going to say at church, but some very nice old ladies said that I reminded them of their childhood, which was interesting. And then just kind of got into a habit of just having that chapel veil with me. And then after high school, I had entered a convent for a couple months where I did have my chapel veil with me all the time before I got a veil as a postulant. So chapel veils are great. It's a personal devotion, though. You don't have to feel obligated to wear it at any time. It's just, I feel kind of strange not carrying one around now that I have a scarf on my head to cover up my balding head and stuff. So that's the way it is. This tea is really good, and I'm going to reuse the leaves. I've been making this loose leaf tea so that I can steep the leaves a second time or even a third time. For this big cup here, I actually had made enough for 2 cups of tea because this mug holds 16 or 20 ounces. So that's what I did. So I'll make more when I'm done talking to all of you lovely people. No problem. I like sharing my stories. I mean, I don't think they're anything that special, but if they help other people, that's really great and helpful for you guys, I guess. That's kind of why I started this whole YouTube thing, was to let you know that you're not alone, and that's just the way it is. I'm glad you find these chats fun, Ghost. I like just being able to be here with you all, and as I'm hitting my headphones, to be here with you all and to just be kind of informal about that. For Christmas, no idea what's going on yet. It'll just be at home with my parents, I'm sure. Been working on preparing all of the Christmas stuff at the church and getting all of that figured out, which is a lot. Yeah. And then any plans with COVID? No, I'm not going anywhere for Christmas. I'll just be here with my parents, and that'll be it. Do I have an Advent wreath? Yes, I do, but I did not get candles this year for some reason because I failed. I have little tea lights. My Advent wreath holds tea lights, so I will probably just throw some tea lights in there because that's what it's going to do. Yeah, I just haven't gotten it down yet. I've been kind of nervous because I do have my kitten, Dominic, who's running around. Well, right now he's sleeping. I can see him right behind my computer screen. He's on the bed there, but he will tip things over and knock things over. So I'm kind of afraid to light candles and walk away from them. So if I light a candle, it'll be just for a little bit. Poor little guy. Sweet. He's sweet though. He just gets very curious and likes to knock things over and look at things. So that's the way it is. Yeah. Is there a male equivalent in devotional terms of a chapel veil? Not really. Traditionally, men wore hats in society and would take their hat off when they entered a church to show that they were entering a holy place. So there's not really an equivalent type of thing there. So yeah. In Sri Lanka, some churches have the please veil signs. Yes, some of them do in Europe as well, depending on what parts you're in or where you're at. Some of the churches did when I was there. So that's fun. It's very cultural thing though too. Not everybody in every culture does, but it's very tied to which cultures choose to wear veils and which ones don't. Yeah. It's funny to see Dominic actually laying down and not attacking things because he has way too much energy right now. Okay, let's see. Any other questions that we're going to come in, or else we're just going to probably call it a day for now. I'll see you all again next week, I think, because it's just been a day. Hello, Sarah. Nice to see you here. It's nice just to chat with you people and see that we're all here and that like we're making it. It's December. We've been surviving like all of this COVID stuff for almost a year. We've made it this far, and we'll keep going, and we'll just see what happens. And it's just going to be a year, and we're almost to officially 2021, though it is 2021 in the liturgical year because we got that. I've been scheduling masses in 2021 calendar because the liturgical year calendar for Catholics starts the first Sunday of Advent. So that's been kind of funny to be like, haha, 2021. But yeah, it's been a year, kind of, it seems. So I don't really have much else to say to all of you today, except that I'll be praying for you as you get into this Advent season to just enjoy Advent and savor it, and really just let the Lord grow in your heart this Advent, because He wants to be closer to you, even if you don't understand how the Lord loves you. So yeah, it's been a week. I'm obviously a little bit exhausted yet. I have a lot of video editing to do for the US ACV videos for the information conference. I haven't finished those yet. It's been a month, but that's some of that. Are we doing some prayer together? There may be some prayer live streams. I was thinking about maybe on Monday doing a rosary live stream. So I will see about how that goes. If it happens, my schedule has been all over the place. Dominic's vet visit went really great, Lou. He is over 7 pounds already and quite healthy. He has to go back to get one more shot when it comes in, because one of his vaccines was back ordered due to the whole state of the world. So even animal vaccines are back ordered sometimes. Definitely keep you and your family in prayers, Michael. And yeah, you guys are great. I love just chatting with you all and hanging out. And like I said, I have started the audio only podcast feed type thing for uploading the audio versions of some of these talks. And I'm going to go back and get some of my previous videos on different topics I've covered over the years as audio only. So that will be available in the future. So that's pretty interesting. It was something I kind of just decided to do, and to reuse some of the content I've made and to help more people have access to various things that I've talked about, including these random little chats where we just hang out and chat, because it's Friday, December 4th already, and Christmas is coming, and it'll be here before we know it. So I pray you all have a really great day and stay healthy. Enjoy your time with your families, and please know that I'm praying for you. God bless.